YouTuber boxing. Look, I've been boxing my entire life. It goes back many generations in my family, and I have many friends who have completely dedicated their lives to the sport of boxing to the point where it's their career. My name is Tommy Duquette, and this is FightCamp 360, an in-depth look at boxing culture through history, past, present, and future. Here is where YouTuber boxing all started. We're gonna go way back to August 2nd of 2017. The beginning of YouTuber boxing, when British YouTubers Joe Weller and Theo Baker, they went toe-to-toe for a friendly 3 rounds in a small-scale match. This guy Weller promoted the match on his Instagram account, catching the attention of widely famous British YouTuber KSI. And then KSI went ahead and he challenged the winner. So Weller won against Baker, and he accepted KSI's challenge. This big KSI versus Weller challenge was set for February 2018, and the two exchanged, obviously they're YouTubers, right? Online digs. In this fight, KSI won by TKO in the 3rd round in front of an audience of about 7,500 people at the Copper Box Arena in London. And 1.6 million people streamed it, which is insane. Now, I've been in boxing a really long time. I've been watching boxing for a really long time. To get 7,500 people to come in attendance and to get 1.6 million people to stream it, I don't know if it was pay-per-view or if they were just watching. I mean, that's really impressive. Now, fast forward to August of 2018, and YouTube boxing started its, well, we'll say its rapid ascent towards a full-blown phenomenon that it is today. After winning against Weller, KSI went ahead and he called out any of the Pauls. Logan Paul accepted. This fight ended in a majority draw, which is a huge disappointment, I'm sure, to these millions of people. But here's the good part, here's the bright spot. The match had 1.06 million paid views, not just streams, but people who paid to watch this fight. 1.06 million. In boxing, it is very hard to get 1.6 million paid views. Like the top fighters in the world will get over 1 million pay-per-view buys, but even like very popular boxers will fight each other and only get in the hundreds of thousands. The money man himself, the suits came in, Eddie Hearn, he's a British boxing promoter. He got his eyes on these numbers and he said, I need to get a piece of this pie. So he came in and started helping them put together KSI versus Logan Paul 2. In this fight, I saw this fight actually. KSI was ultimately declared the winner by split decision. To me, it was a little questionable. Now, don't get me wrong. Both of these guys impressed me for YouTubers. Both of them have an aptitude for combat sports. KSI hits hard, he's a strong, athletic guy. From what I saw in that fight, KSI got dropped. I think it was ruled not a knockdown, but it should have been. And I even think that Logan Paul got some points taken away from him, which I think was kind of bullshit. KSI was declared the winner. If anything thrusted YouTuber boxing into the mainstream, it's this fight. Now let's fast forward a bit. Now somehow, throughout the course of this very strange 2020, Logan Paul got a fight contract signed with the legend himself, the greatest boxer ever. I'll say he's the greatest ever, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Don't ask me how that happened, but it did happen. And they fought, and everybody thought that Logan Paul was gonna get absolutely demolished. I thought that, you know, until I saw the weigh-in. Floyd Mayweather's about this tall. Logan Paul's about that tall, and there's a reason why there's weight classes in boxing. Now, don't get me wrong, Floyd Mayweather still, to me, clearly dominated the fight, but Logan Paul surprised the crap out of me. He went right at him, he connected clean with him a bunch of times, and I think Floyd was probably surprised by how much heat that he was bringing. So, you know, kudos to Logan Paul, that was legit respect. So enough about Logan Paul and KSI. You know, I guess you could consider them the founding fathers of this whole YouTuber boxing thing. The real superstar who's leading this effort now is Logan Paul's little brother, Jake Paul. After a very highly controversial win against Nate Robinson, became this super viral moment that sent Jake Paul to the level of YouTube boxing sensation. Jake Paul now has a record of 5-0 with 4 of the wins by knockout. Like that Nate Robinson one, he completely flatlined Nate Robinson. Not even close is embarrassing for Nate Robinson, I feel bad. Jake Paul has also recently been trying to stir a beef with the UFC champion Conor McGregor to entice him into the ring. That's interesting because there's a huge size difference there, obviously. Conor's about my size. Jake is 200 plus pounds, over 6 feet tall. Conor McGregor can actually box. Do I think Conor McGregor will go and probably just knock Jake Paul out? I don't. I actually think Jake Paul could do semi-okay, but it'd be different than boxing Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley's a striker in the sense that he hits really hard. And he's a striker in the UFC in the sense that you're always worried about him taking you down because he can wrestle, which opens up a lot of those big shots that he hits people with. Tyron Woodley doesn't understand how to be relaxed, slip punches, get inside, free his hands up while he's inside, dig the body, find the head. He's not a pure boxer. He really isn't. Conor McGregor actually is a pure boxer. Before he was an MMA fighter, he had 40 or 50 amateur boxing matches. The guy's got hands. He can box. So that's a very interesting one, I'm gonna admit it. And it's interesting because it's in the boxing ring. If it were to be an actual MMA fight, I don't think Jake Paul would have a chance personally. I would still pick Conor for now, but it's interesting, it really is. And Jake is still getting better. As of the time we're filming this video, we're like 4 or 5 days out from Jake Paul versus Rahman Jr. Rahman Jr., I've actually known him for, a really long time. He'd be at all the same national tournaments as me. And while he was not a spectacular amateur, the kid's got a boxing pedigree. He's been boxing his entire life and he can box and he should beat Jake Paul. Now there are some intangibles there though, right? So I would not be surprised if he didn't end up getting the W. First of all, Jake Paul is the cash cow. They want this momentum to continue, and personally, I want it to continue. I've enjoyed watching it. The second thing is what Jake Paul and his team did on the weight side. So Rahman Jr. fights at heavyweight. In this fight, they're actually making him drain down to 200 pounds, and they put a rehydration clause into the contract. Very smart, very savvy on the part of Jake Paul's team to do that. So that means that Rahman Jr. is gonna have to come way down in weight, dehydrate himself, and not be able to fully rehydrate himself or put that weight back on before the fight. So those are some of the intangibles. The final intangible that could potentially give Jake Paul the edge is that the guy's just a dynamo. He rises to the occasion, he punches really hard, and he might, pull this off against the actual real boxer, Rahman Jr. Now to sum up the whole social media, YouTuber boxing phenomenon, here is my take. So a lot of boxing purists, I consider myself a boxing purist, but a lot of people from the boxing world, especially when it first started, were hypercritical of it. They're like, why do these guys get all this attention when there's fighters who've been working their whole life, that don't get paid, that don't get the TV time, all that. I probably felt the same way at first. I definitely did. I was like, what is this, goofy crap? But look, number one, these guys have built that following. They've earned that following, right? And that's why they have that attention. And other boxers should learn from that. So you check out what Ryan Garcia did as a fighter. That's the playbook right there. Do everything you can to get eyes on you, even as an amateur. Number two, these guys, Jake Paul especially, he takes this sport very seriously. Trains with a great trainer in BJ Flores. He works probably multiple times per day, every single day. At one point, I think he had a ring in his house. So this is somebody who's now been boxing for 4 years? It's a long period of time. There's people who box for 4 years, turn pro and do well. Deontay Wilder, when he made the Olympic team, he won a bronze medal. He had only been boxing for 3 or 4 years. So think of that. The other thing is that this guy is actually fighting live bodies. Unlike other people in their first few fights, you'll fight somebody who's 0-16. It's a point he's made commonly. So I actually respect it. That's my hot take. Now, when you go to the TikTokers and all these other guys that are trying to do it, I just think they're clout chasers. I think they're looking up at Jake Paul and Logan Paul and they're like, I want to be like them. Cornballs. Take it seriously if you're going to do it. Boxing deserves respect, okay? People die for the sport. It's the most historically significant sport in human history. All right, that's it for this episode of FightCamp 360. Now, did I miss anything? Is there anything you wish I had talked about? Let me know in the comment section. I'd be happy to fight with you over it. And is there anybody, a TikToker or something like that, that you'd like to see me box in the ring? Been over 12 years since I've fought, so I don't know. We'll see. But let me know in the comment section if anybody comes to mind. I'll see you next time.